Now the big idea is, if you had $1 million idea here at D.L. Martin and save us $1 million, would it get implemented? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you had an idea that you're not sure if it's going to save much money, maybe it's going to save a few dollars, would it get implemented? Maybe, maybe not. Possibly. Usually the small ideas don't get improved upon. The big ideas do. So when we say how small of an idea for a Kaizen, for improvement, if you can save 1 cent or 1 second in time, it's good enough. We want those ideas. All ideas, no matter how small. So think of it. If it saves a second, it saves a cent, we want that idea. It's just that we want a lot of those ideas. So here are the simple steps of doing this process. Think of an idea to make your job easier and better. Talk it over with your lead and supervisor, and between the two of you, try it out, just like you do in a Kaizen event. And then if it works, make the change. You implement it yourself. Then you fill out the form and turn it in. See the difference between this and a normal suggestion program? So what we want to do is try to have you implement the idea yourself with your lead and supervisor's help, and then you fill out the paperwork to say, look what idea we've implemented. Now in our experience, when we've done suggestion programs like that, there are some ideas that you're going to need a little help on. You may need tooling, you may need maintenance support, you may need some money to do a small change, so you would need management to help you out on that. For those ideas that you need help, just then go ahead and fill out the form so we can track it, and then we'll get that support so you can get the idea implemented. But if you can implement the idea yourself with your supervisor, do it. Try it and do it. Now, when you do experiments and you try something, do they all work?
Not always.
No, not always. What happens when it doesn't work?
Change it back to the original.
First thing is go back to the old way, and then what do you do?
Evaluate and see if there's another way.
Exactly. Reevaluate and think of another way. And then with your supervisor, try a couple of things until you find something that does work. Then turn that in as your idea that you've actually implemented. You solved your problem. Exactly. Now here's the form. It's basically fill out your name, put the department and your date, and then we're going to ask you 3 simple questions. And all we need is 1 or 2 sentences as an answer. The first question, what was your problem? Again, all we need is just 1 or 2 sentences what your problem is. Then we're going to ask, what's your idea? Write your idea down. So 1 or 2 sentences, you write your idea down, and then how did it make your job easier and better? Again, all we need is a sentence or 2, and then turn that in. The bottom section you don't have to worry about. That's one when you need that maintenance support or management support, we'll take that form and we'll track it. Otherwise, this is all we need to implement. What was the problem? What was your idea? And how did it make your job easier and better? Now, here's an example. I travel around to a lot of different plants to do improvements, and my computer cords get tangled up in my bag. I decided to put Velcro strips around the cords so they don't get tangled up in my bag, and it's going to make my job easier and better because they won't get tangled up. I won't get frustrated. It makes it easier to grab the cords out of the bag. So I implemented that suggestion. Now, did I save $1 million for my company?
Well, we could probably send several moments of aggravation.
Yes, yes. It made my job easier and better by just a little bit. So, well, we come back and take pictures. The before picture is how it would look if I had just shoved those cords into my bag and tangled up. Using simple Velcro, I can keep the cords separated. And a picture of the employee that has the idea and how to make their job easier or better. My cords don't get tangled up. And we would take those before and after pictures and record those ideas to make it visual. Now, when I was in Japan, I noticed that they had a Kaizen Wall of Fame. What they did is they took their employee suggestions and did exactly what we said. Put a before and after picture and a picture of the employee, posted them up on the wall, and their whole plant wall was covered with all these pictures. Now, why would they do that?
Recognition.
Recognition. We want to recognize your ideas. Absolutely. That's the #1 reason why we want to do it. What's another reason why do you think we do it?
To help build the program and instill the concept.
Definitely.
Pride.
To get everybody to have pride and instill the concept. And the other key thing is communication. Share the ideas. Every employee coming in to work can see the ideas from the other employees. And if you can look on the board and say, wow, that was a really good idea, let me try that at my workstation. So therefore, another person's idea can come and help you do your job easier and better. And then you can actually turn that in as your own idea because you implemented it at your workstation. So that's what we want to do. Let's create a Kaizen Wall of Fame here at D.L. Martin. Now here's another example of a company I used to work for, Batesville Casket, when I was the lean sensei there. We instituted the exact same program, except we called it MyCI, and we wanted to engage all the employees, and they did an outstanding job when they did this. The first year we implemented in 2008, we had 1,979 ideas. And if you notice, this wall is completely filled with ideas. And then the second year we grew to 4,998. Can you imagine if you had 4,998 ideas implemented in 1 year? Now you remember that Japanese company that I showed you right here? This was a 200-person company making car seats. Now there's 200 employees. How many ideas do you think they implemented in 1 year?
1,595.
Good guess, but higher. Higher than 1,500. Higher than 3,000. Batesville Casket did almost 5,000.
12,000.
How much?
12.
Better guess, 50. 50,000 ideas in 1 year. Can you imagine if we had 50,000 ideas just making our jobs easier and better by a little bit? That's the power of the small idea.
There was 200 people.
200. Yes. Excellent program. At Medline up in Chicago, we actually instituted the same program, and they had put it out a wall of fame there. In fact, they had so many ideas at Medline that they made it a hall of fame instead of a wall of fame. This whole wall down the next hallway was full, and then they did the other side. Completely filled up a complete hallway of all the ideas they implemented. So that's a lot of ideas to make jobs easier and better. You've seen this picture before. Do you remember who this person was?
President of the company.
President of the company. And what was he doing? Scrubbing the floor during their daily 5S. And he had taught us that you lead by example. It's one of the powerful things that we have in our lean toolbox, is to lead by example. And he also said that you don't have to be a president or CEO to lead by example. Every one of us has the power to lead by example, no matter what level in the company that we are. So he said, use that power for the good. Make improvements. Lead by example. Show your fellow employees how you can improve your job so that we can all have an easier and better job. So I challenge you to lead by example in this process and make improvements to your jobs. And now as far as goals, one of the goals that we would like to have is just 2 simple ideas per person per month. Now, is it one of those goals that we're going to track? Yes. Are we going to track how much money you save? No. This is not a process where we're worried about it. Because if we tracked how many dollars were saved, then we start thinking of the home runs again. And that this idea was better than that idea because it saved more money. Because we know that of all these ideas, they're going to save us money. We're going to be more profitable. And we can make the job safer. We can have a better response to our customer by all these ideas. We know that's going to happen. So we're not going to worry about saving and how much money it is. But we do want to track participation. Now, what happens if you don't have 2 ideas per month? Nothing. But we encourage you that we want to make your jobs easier and better to participate. Now, a lot of companies have reward systems for that. We can do the same thing here. One of the reward systems are that we would take for every suggestion you implement every month, put your name in a hat. And then each month we'll have a drawing, and the 2 or 3 people will be called out based on the number of entries, and you will get a dollar amount. $100, $50, or whatever the company decides. And the more ideas you turn in implemented every month, the more chances you have to win that monthly prize. And then that could also be incorporated into an Employee of the Month program as one of the components. Well, thank you very much for your time, and let's get back to Kaizen.